Okay, we're ready?
Yep.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is our monthly work session for March. Everything that we discussed tonight will be voted on at next Wednesday's regular meeting of the board. Item E, recognition of meetings. Is recognition of meetings. Executive session for personnel, 6:12 to 6:55. The regular board meeting was 7 to 7:11. Our Pride and Promises will be next Wednesday. Any reports from standing committees of the board?
Mr. Retzel, I just have one thing to tell you. You'll have the Midwestern Intermediate Unit for General Operating Budget 2023 to 2024. Please take a look at it. We have been discussing it at the IU4, and we believe we are voting on it. That's correct? Yes. Already voting on that for next week. Please, if you have any questions, take a look, and
Sure.
Yes.
Good job. Yeah, we had a board meeting at both Texas and I got open house.
prospective student open.
Okay. Last
Thursday.
was well attended.
Mm-hmm.
Myself and a couple other people walked to some of the shops. That school hits it on the head. I think we should once again have a board meeting down there before summer gets here.
Okay.
And take a little walk through. The school should be built for the deal.
So one thing we have done for other boards that have come, Elwood, Wilmington, and the like, is the restaurant trades kids like to cook for you. So there'll be a nice meal prior to the meeting. There's an opportunity for a tour prior to the meeting, and then to conduct business. It can either be a work session or a voting meeting, whatever you would like. But Mr. Hammerschmidt, at your request, I will discuss it with board leadership.
And they had awesome chocolate covered strawberries. It was awesome. It was awesome.
It was February 16th. I bought 4 pepperoni rolls to take home. Yep.
Yeah, it was well attended those. Did you have a head count or not?
So we had about 200 visitors. Some of those visitors were existing students who brought friends. The most important thing for the prospective student open house is parents. Parents need to know that their child's going to be okay, no matter where they're at. So in order, before they make a life-changing decision and come to the Career Center, the prospective student open house gives them the opportunity to see it on the hoof, as it were.
And the thing that amazes me every time I walk through that school is the age of that school and the type of kids. You would think the school would be all beat the hell and back. It is not. They like their school. Agree?
Well, they like their school, and for example, our chef is a 2009 graduate. Our head member of the building and grounds is a 1984 graduate. Our electric occupation teachers is a 1976 graduate, I believe. There's ownership, and that matters.
And all the sayings above, I don't know what you, but they have drop downs like over all the hallways and doors, and they have sayings. I can't even tell you any of them, but they make sense of moving through life, which would be nice to have some of those around here. If we
as Ms. Bell advocates for school-wide positive behavior support, that's right up the alley there, posting positive messages. Kids pick out the messages. The commercial art program makes the messages. Puts them. That's something we could have Ryan do around here.
Yeah, if we have places, I mean, they make sense. They're just simple sentences.
Just to reiterate what Jeff was saying, we had an alternate down there. We have been to several meetings over the years. It's a nice building. Really, they have a lot of good programs.
And a lot of good kids.
Good kids. They do a great job. The projected valedictorian this year is from Laurel.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah, that's good.
Can I ask a question? So for the meetings, like when the athletic club personnel committee met for interviews, should that be on here? or?
That should be reflected if the athletic committee met for personnel, yes.
Okay. Want to make sure we get credit for it.
Extra credit for it.
I know, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll move on to administrator reports. Mr. Sager.
Driver meeting in February, to discuss the bus routes, currently what they're driving, and if there's anything they didn't like this year, we have to change the next year. I also started riding with a driver, so I take over as somebody. I will recertify and recertify at this time, and I'm planning on having a driver class.
Any questions for Mr. Sager? Mr. Novak.
We replaced 2 water fountains at the high school, one in the weight room and one in the restroom room. They've been there since day one. They were well overdue. The faucets we've been on commission with, one in the elementary kitchen. And we finally got our last box light installed at the elementary school. Mr. Lee, we definitely do that.
Any questions for Mr. Novak? Thank you. Mrs. Bell.
So school-wise at the elementary, is going strong. The teachers handed out 30 green cards. My office is hopping. I actually love it because I actually get to see the kids. They get to come in and get prizes. And referrals were up a little bit last month, but they weren't anywhere specific or anything specific for us to address anything different. Speech, we've had a shift in speech, as you'll see on the board minutes. Had a rough go, so we have
Please tell me we have somebody lined up.
So Plan A fell through, Plan B was,
Plan A, B, C, and D
Right.
all fell through. I'm on Plan F. Anyone knows anyone who wants to work?
and that was the problem with
I'm begging.
the last one agreed to what we set forth, and then when we said, okay, we're ready,
Well, I had the schedule ready. She should show up. So I have been beyond, with that.
So we are working.
I apologize to everybody, but honestly, she didn't show up Monday, and I got on the phone, I got someone, I gotta get her clearances and everything, so by next week, we're gonna meet Tuesday, she's coming Tuesday.
okay.
That's good.
Okay, good.
So I apologize, but out of my control. Early intervention students, we met with all of our, kids coming in that have IEPs. We have 6 of them, coming in this year, and which is about average of how many kids with needs coming in. And then I've been out of the district, quite a bit this lately, just, trying to make sure that the kids that we're servicing outside the district placements are getting the services that they need. That's been my.
Any questions for Mrs. Bell? Thank you. Mr. Swerbley.
So Q3, hard to believe, already halfway through. Progress reports just went out. We had our Valentine party and, of course, our 6th grade Valentine dance. Our kindergarten kids came up here last week for the VOAG animal encounter. They always enjoy that. We are in year 2, moving into year 3 of our standards-based report cards rollout. So I'm working right now with 2nd grade. We'll be ready to launch that next year, and then we'll be standards-based K-2 during next school.
Any questions for Mr. Swerbley? Thank you. Columbus.
As Mr. Swerbley mentioned, Q3 progress reports went out. I highly encourage parents to please track them on Alma so they can see where their students stand, where their children are. National FFA Week just was last week. It was a fun-filled week. Mr. Swerbley did mention that pre-K and kindergarten students came up and learned about the animals. They also learned square dancing, planting seeds. FFA students went down and did the 5th and 6th grade, and they made butter. They also had special days, red and white day, hat day, shirt day. Our first CL dodgeball tournament took place, and the focus was for our 4 injured students. And so they raised, just in that, for that day, they raised $1,200, which then sent $300 for each student that was hurt. CPR training was also conducted in grades, 8 and 11. We just have a few students that were absent that we're going to make up. So all students in 8th and 11th grade will be certified.
Any questions for Mrs. Columbus?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. So at 10 o'clock will be, and at 10:30 will be the elementary.
And the wrestlers and the swimmers.
And our swimmers. They've all been invited to.
Any questions for Mrs. Columbus? I see we have a history book. Is this elementary, high school? What grade is?
We're adjusting, our scope and sequence in our 9 through 12. So, we're adding a world history course, textbook approved.
So that's grade 12?
It's high school.
Oh, okay.
Looks good. Starting all the way through history. Right. That's.
Okay. Mrs. Conrad?
I just think I'm on the plan right now, and just thought everybody and get it all back. First, it's just on Monday that book is in a 30-day window for review, and then it's sort of like
Now, is this just a book? Does this have software that comes with it, or is it just?
says there on the unless you
Oh, okay.
on the inside the cover, and it does say there are very description.
Okay, I'll look at it after. Thank you.
More about that, but and there's the fine print that book.
Fine, like
Right.
classrooms.
Right, okay. Any questions for Mrs. Conrad? Mr. Rich?
Nothing at this time.
Oh, Mr. Lee?
Just a couple things, I don't need to short up, just, the main thing, just a quick security update, I just was informed that some of the parts are trickling in, so we should be working on the intrusion security here, within the coming weeks, so that's probably the big news. The other thing has just been Assistant Mr. Rich, and the rest of the high school team, on scheduling and moving and leveraging some of the tools that are in Alma that we haven't used in the past. Other than that, I will share this because I really like this stat. I think you'll appreciate this. We had 128 tickets in February. Our first response time was insanely fast, at 21 minutes, 46 seconds, meaning that was the first time we acknowledged, hey, you have a problem. We've never been this fast. And this is a direct result of some feedback that we received from a survey we sent out to staff. So I wanted to share that and highlight. My guys are doing a really good job, and we're trying to be as fast and efficient as possible. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Question for you. With cyber attacks and everything, is the staff going through phishing training,
Not yet.
cyber security training?
No, not yet, and that's a great point. We have had an influx of phishing and scam emails floating around. What I have done, Mr. McGee, or trying to do is educate our staff the best I can as we see them. I do have some curriculum that I'm presenting to the board for our budget next year that will be additional to help our staff identify, and some of that's automated. It'll send out spoof emails that if you click on it, it'll say, hey, you shouldn't have done that. Then we'll get a report. We could go and use that as a teachable moment. So our best line of defense is education. One of the reasons we had our issues, some of the stuff that's going around is we traced this down, someone said yes to an app or an extension, and it gave them free reign right into our contacts. So they're sending emails out looking like it's for Mr. Rich, looking for it's Mr. Swerbley. You can't hover on it, and it says, you know, sorry, this isn't the right email, it's @gmail.com. So it looks exactly like it's from our people. That's why it's really important. Education is more important than ever. Here's the good news. I'm getting people sending me emails all the time saying, I think I found spam, or, or can you look into this, or they just know. So it's starting, but it's a slow process. But it's definitely something on my radar and something I'm very much committed to doing to improve our cybersecurity policies, or in regards to some policies, we need to make some changes.
How are we backing up what we have?
Well, we are currently using our SAN. We take snapshots, but in addition to that, we have a backup that goes to a local MAS unit, and that unit is only, we back that up. I'm not going to say the day publicly, we back that one up once a week. That's literally on just for the few hours that we are plugged in, and we plug it in and shut it off, so it's completely isolated. Is it foolproof, bulletproof? No, but it would take a lot of the right things to happen to really impact us, where we would have no recourse, I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think we have good backups.
Okay.
So.
I'd encourage you to get the training done as soon as possible versus paying the couple thousands of dollars that they'll want for the encryption key that they may or may not give you.
I have it ready right now if it's something you would bring to make a move on, that we have it. Like, I already looked at it. And I mean, it's not even like a want, we really need to do it to protect our district. And in addition to some other security protocols we're gonna have to put in place that I'm certain that some people won't be happy about. Multi-factor authentication, changing passwords, all that stuff. It's past the point where we can say, oh, hey, we're Laurel, we can't do it. They're coming after us, they're gonna get us. It's gonna happen. If we don't do our due diligence. It's not a matter of if. It'll happen in some way, shape, or form. I'm not saying we're gonna have ransomware. We're gonna have an issue if we don't tighten up.
Better hope.
And that's the thing about technology. I don't like to sound like an old man, but we use it in every facet of our life, and it is the most unsecure thing I have ever seen. I get stuff all day long. I have no clue what it is. I delete stuff that I'm probably supposed to keep, but it never stops. And you just wonder, I mean, I know everybody does their best, but it really is scary that,
well, Jim, I know of 2 companies personally that got ransomed. One paid 970-some thousand, and the other company I know about paid between 600 and 700,000.
And the inverse is that you just have to swipe out all your servers, all your routers.
What are we in? Are we insured? And if we are, what are we insured for? We're not even insured.
We would not even pass the fitness test on
wow.
insurance at this point.
And that's why I asked
That's
about
not good.
the backup, because all it would take is for us to not be able to provide one whole class of kids.
We should really look at being insured.
Great to get the call.
It is real, and it can really mess.
Here's the one good thing. If there's any good things here, we pushed everything we can to the cloud over the last couple of years where it's appropriate. So we're not only relying on our cybersecurity expertise, we're leveraging the expertise of companies that have a lot more money to throw behind that. So that's just one small nugget of peace of mind, I guess.
No,
Nothing's bulletproof.
it's helpful, but I would like to see the staff trained as soon as possible. Because I think, Gene, you were talking, no, before, the company is not that expensive.
Nope, not at all.
So,
I can bring something to the table for next week if that's something you guys want me. I have it now.
that would be appreciated.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
anything else for? Item B, information reports to the board. I believe you have those on your laptop. Item 5, comments or questions from the floor relative to agenda items. Item 6, next week we'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Item 7 will be the treasurer's report. We'll be voting on that next week. Item B, our investment report. Item 8, the bill listings. Item 9, personnel. We have retirements. Approve and accept the following retirements and resignations. resignation of Danielle Moffett, a school police officer, Mrs. Lori Heights cheerleading, Miss Jenna Burks cheerleading, Melissa Miller, junior high's girls track coach. Any questions on item A? Another track coach, this isn't the one we just hired. Okay, this is, okay, that's what I thought. Item B, employment of school police officer. Ratify the employment of James Iser, a school police officer, the rate of $20 an hour effective February 11th, pending receipt of required clearances and documentation. Any questions on item B? Item C, the musical tickets, approve the employment of Miss Brenda Bessel as a musical ticket sales position for the 22-23 school year at the rate of $250 as per the contract. Any questions on C? Item D, middle high school substitute, approve Kimberly McClanahan as a substitute teacher for the middle high school, in addition to her professional role when needed at a rate of $95 a day, plus her existing paraprofessional salary effective March 9th.
What's the paraprofessional salary kind of?
What does she do as a
She works in the long,
oh, okay.
And what that allows us to do is, she can, right now, age is dropped.
Right. Okay. Item E, leave of absence, approve the intermittent FMLA leave for absence of Jean Ann Dean beginning February 10th and concluding upon the exhaustion of available leave 60 days using sick personal pay, the sub and unpaid days if needed. Any questions on E? Additional leave of absence for Mrs. Morgan Richards beginning May 8th and concluding on or before June 2nd, using a combination of sick personal, pay the sub, and unpaid days. Any questions on that item? Item G, leave of absence, approve the unpaid leave of absence for Sylvia.
Bacteria.
Okay, middle high school cafeteria beginning February 16th, concluding on or around March 30th. Any questions on item G? Item H, leave of absence, approve the unpaid leave of absence for Michelle Schweikert, cafeteria beginning January 30th, with an unknown conclusion date. Any questions on item H?
You're gonna have enough people in the cafeteria?
That's what I'm wondering.
Carrie does have limited subs. We have one or two permanent positions open right now. We have two permanent positions open right now. I don't want to be cliche, but Carrie's amazing with what she does with the pressure. Since I've been here in 2016, we have had nothing but employment pressure on that cafeteria. Yeah.
Okay, item I is approve a professional employment contract for Amber Jacobs for the 22-23 school year. Ms. Jacobs received tenure at her prior school district. Any questions on item I? Item J, speech and language substitute, approve Jamie Matter as speech and language substitute at the rate of $140 a day, effective upon the receipt of required clearances and documentation. Any questions on that? Item K, head cheerleading coach, approve Brandy Napoli as head cheerleader coach for the 23-24 school year at the rate of $5,650, which is step 5 of the current contract. Any questions on item K? Board action items, committee of the whole, Midwestern Intermediate Unit, general operating budget. I believe you all have a copy of that. Dustin was just discussing it at the beginning of the meeting. Any questions on item A?
Jen, I just have one question on that.
Yep.
Do we know how much we contributed last year? I don't know. It's not a. That's what. Perhaps the minimal increase could have been avoided if board members would not give exorbitant labor contracts.
Correct.
And with wages and salaries. What do you think about that, Mr. Kirkland?
Is he interested in how he voted?
All right. Any other questions on item A? Item B, Laurel School District Real Estate Collectors Audit. Approve and accept the attached Laurel School District Tax Collectors Audit for the period ending December 31st, 2020 and December 31st, 2021. Okay. Okay, item C is approve the attached agreement with Sager Motors to provide transportation and roadway services from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2025 at the rate of $8,000 per year.
No.
$80,000 per year. I wanted to see if I could. I seen your ears perk up there.
I like the roadway service part.
Any questions on item C? Item D, proposed settlement, approve and accept the attached confidential settlement offer by the government entity claims against Joel, okay, Labs Incorporated. Any questions on item D? Item E, student teachers, approve the following student teachers for the 23-24 school year. Alyssa Schaefer under Miss Ernst and Eleanor Lambert under Mrs. Walzer and Mr. Skirvitz. Any questions on item E? Item F, approval of field trips. I'm not going to read those all over. I'll give you a few minutes to look them over. Any questions on any of the proposed? Okay, item G. I can only hear half what you said, Jennifer.
Read it, recommended action.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, it's a recommendation of the president of the board to expel.
That's the part?
Oh, you know, okay. Okay, student discipline, that's what you want, that's
Well, student discipline issue. next week. Matt, anything further we need to announce on that?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, deliberate, and move forward.
Okay. Are there any questions from the audience about non-agenda? If not, I will adjourn the meeting and thank everybody for coming out.